not some choir in the sky. This is what healing sounds like. It sounds like morning in the kitchen, a kettle humming low. It sounds like rain no longer meaning everything I used to know. It sounds like breathing without rushing, a room that doesn't feel too small, a heart that can remember without collapsing through it all. It sounds like opening the curtains and not fearing what comes through. It sounds like standing in the quiet and letting it be new. I used to think recovery was singing some dramatic light. Now I know it sings much softer. This is what healing sounds like. This is what healing sounds like. A steadier breath, a kinder room, a softer kind of night. This is what healing sounds like. Not the end of every shadow, but the end of every fight. This is what healing sounds like. And maybe that's why it's so beautiful and true. It doesn't ask me to forget, it only teaches me how to move. It sounds like laughter coming easier, like windows opening wide, like walking through an ordinary day without bracing from inside. It sounds like trusting little moments. It sounds like letting stillness stay. It sounds like no longer measuring my whole life by what went away. And maybe that's the wonder, after all the blue and rain, the heart still finds its music in the ordinary again. I used to think recovery was singing some dramatic light. Now I know it sings much softer. This is what healing sounds like. This is what healing sounds like. A steadier breath, a kinder room, a softer kind of night. This is what healing sounds like. Not the end of every shadow, but the end of every fight. This is what healing sounds like. And maybe that's why it's so beautiful and true. It doesn't ask me to forget, it only teaches me how to move. It sounds like peace arriving without needing to explain it. It sounds like all the weather no longer owning every frame. It sounds like hope with its shoes off, walking gently through the door. It sounds like being alive again in ways I thought I'd lost before. This is what healing sounds like. The cup, the rain, the street, the light, the air I'm breathing in. This is what healing sounds like. A quieter heart and a life beginning again. This is what healing sounds like. And I think that's the truest ending I could choose. Not a life untouched by sorrow, but a life that still sings through. This is what healing sounds like. And now I hear it in everything. Not because the world got perfect, but because the heart learned spring. It's not thunder, it's not some choir in the sky. This is what healing sounds like. After all the blue, I'm still here, and the world still opens. how the evenings used to fold around my chest, how the windows held the rain like I'd never know rest. I remember all the weather, all the old and aching views, and I never thought I'd stand here looking back through all that blue. But here I am in soft delight, with steadier hands and eyes, not untouched by what I've lived, but wider on the inside. Maybe that's the gift hidden in what we survive, not being spared the sorrow, but still staying alive. After all the blue, there was still light, still sky, still room to move. After all the blue, there was still breath, still warmth, still something new. After all the blue, and maybe that's what healing came to prove. Not that I would never hurt, but that I'd still become more than what I went through. I can feel the life around me, in the coffee, in the street, in the way the day now meets me, without dragging at my feet. I still carry what I've been through, but it sits more gently now, like memory learned a better shape. And time has taught me how to let the old days matter, without letting them decide every color in the future, or every room inside. Maybe that's the gift hidden in what we survive, not being spared the sorrow, but still staying alive. After all the blue, there was still light, still sky, still room to move. After all the blue, there was still breath, still warmth, still something new. After all the blue, maybe that's what healing came to prove. Not that I would never hurt, but that I'd still become more than what I went through. I used to think the sadness would decide who I would be. Now I know it was only one season in a wider story, and everything I feared would end me became the road I walked on through, to this softer kind of living. After all the blue, after all the blue, I can finally say the morning still is mine. After all the blue, I can stand beneath the sky and call it kind. After all the blue, and I think that's the truth I needed most. The heart can ache for years and still make room for hope. After all the blue, there is still me, still life, still something true. After all the blue, I'm still here, and the world still opens too. After all the blue, I'm still here, and the world still opens. It didn't rush me, it didn't ask for more. Peace came in slowly, not like a sunrise bursting, not like a voice from above, not like some great arrival that suddenly fixed enough. It came in smaller moments, a chair, a cup, a breath, a room that held me gently, where I once expected less. It came through ordinary mornings, through evenings without fear, through all the little spaces where I learned I could stay here. Maybe that's why it lasted, maybe that's why it's true. It didn't come to dazzle, it came to move me through. Peace came in slowly, through the light, through the hush, through the life I almost missed. Peace came in slowly, not to erase the dark, but to soften what it did. Peace came in slowly, and maybe that's the deepest kind of grace. Not a sudden rescue, just a gentler way to live from day to day. I still know every old weather, still know the roads back down, but now they do not own me the way they used to when they came around. I have learned a quieter safety in the way my body rests, in the way I let the stillness sit kindly in my chest. And maybe healing had to happen in a shape that I could hold, not too bright to trust, not too fast to grow. Maybe that's why it lasted, maybe that's why it's true. It didn't come to dazzle, it came to move me through. Peace came in slowly, through the light, through the hush, through the life I almost missed. Peace came in slowly, not to erase the dark, but to soften what it did. Peace came in slowly, and maybe that's the deepest kind of grace. Not a sudden rescue, just a gentler way to live from day to day. I used to think I know it by some grand and shining sign. Now I know it by the quiet, by the ease of ordinary time, by the way the room can hold me, by the way the sky stays blue, by the way my heart no longer needs to fight to make it through. Peace came in slowly, and I think that's why I trust it now. It stayed through all the weather without needing me to call it out. Peace came in slowly, and I let it teach me something true. The healing doesn't have to hurry to become something real in you. And I think that's how love stays too. Not always in the fire, sometimes in what grows after blue. It didn't rush me, it didn't ask for more. Peace came in slowly. There were nights I never thought I'd leave, but here I am. I made it through the dark. I know the rooms that held me when the whole world felt too much. I know the windows, the old rain, the fear in every hush. I know the way to midnight, the ache that has no name. I know how long a heart can hurt and still keep beating anyway. There were hours I thought would always be this hard, but time and breath and morning led me farther than the dark. Not untouched, not unchanged, but still alive enough to say what once felt endless did not stay. I made it through the dark, through the blue, through the fear, through the breaking heart. I made it through the dark, and I'm still soft, still open, still exactly who I are. Oh, I made it through the dark, and maybe that's the strongest song I know. Not that I never hurt, but that I hurt and still kept going. I carry what I lived through, but it no longer carries me. I let the light come closer, I let tomorrow be. I found the strength and gentleness, the courage and the calm, the kind of healing that arrives without needing fanfare or dawn. And every little thing I've learned has brought me here to say the heart can lose and still believe. And one more brighter day, not untouched, not unchanged, but still alive enough to say what once felt endless did not stay. I made it through the dark, through the blue, through the fear, through the breaking heart. I made it through the dark, and I'm still soft, still open, still exactly who I are. Oh, I made it through the dark, and maybe that's the strongest song I know. Not that I never hurt, but that I hurt and still kept going. I used to think survival would sound louder than this. Now I know it sounds like breathing, like a room at rest, like a steady kind of sunlight on an ordinary floor, like saying to your own reflection, you don't have to fear anymore. I made it through the dark, and I think that truth will stay with me in every softer morning, in every breath that comes more easily. I made it through the dark, and I don't need a perfect ending now, just this warm and living proof that I'm still here somehow. I made it through the dark, and I say it like a vow. The storm was real, the pain was real, and still I made it out. There were nights I never thought I'd leave, but here I am. I made it through the dark.
I stepped outside, and for the first time in a long time, the air felt new.
Same street, same tree, same morning, same city, waking slow. Same sky stretched over everything I thought I already knew. But something in me had shifted, something quiet and true. Because all at once the world felt old, and the air felt new. I took one breath and felt it move softer through my chest. Not fighting for a little room, just entering like rest. Maybe change is not the world, maybe it begins in you. Maybe when the heart grows wider, even the air feels new. The air felt new in my lungs, in my skin, in the way I moved. The air felt new making it through. Not a different world, just a different way of moving through. I used to walk with tension, like I owed the day a shield, like every corner held a memory, waiting to be felt. Now the wind across the sidewalk feels almost like a friend, like the world is not against me, and I don't have to brace for it again. And maybe all this healing lives inside such little things: a breath, a step, a softened jaw, a day that doesn't sting. Maybe change is not the world, maybe it begins in you. Maybe when the heart grows wider, even the air feels new. The air felt new in my lungs, in my skin, in the way I moved. The air felt new, like the life I had was finally opening through. The air felt new, and maybe that's the gift of making it through. Not a different world, just a different way of moving through. I used to think recovery would need some giant shift. Now I think it sometimes enters as the smallest kind of gift. The body learning safety, the shoulders dropping loose, the breath no longer carrying the whole weight of what you've been through. The air felt new, and I think that's how I knew that something in me had returned to a steadier truth. The air felt new, and I let that feeling move me through. Not all healed, not all finished, but open enough to call it beautiful. I stepped outside, and for the first time in a long time, the air felt new. I still remember you, that part is true, but I'm no longer only missing you. There was a time when every hour turned back toward your name, when every room I entered still carried your old shape, when all I knew of healing was surviving what had been, and all I knew of mourning was how to make it through again. But something in the seasons kept moving me along, till I noticed I had started living beyond the loss. Not forgetting, not pretending, just becoming something new, someone wider than the ache that first led back to you. I'm no longer only missing you, I'm living, I'm breathing, I'm becoming too. No longer only missing you, there is more in my heart now than what I lost in you. No longer only missing you, and maybe that's the deepest kind of proof love can leave a mark without remaining all of you. I still hear old songs sometimes and think of who we were. Still feel a little weather shift when memory stirs. But now I also have my own life, first led back to you. I'm no longer only missing you. I'm living, I'm breathing, I'm becoming too. No longer only missing you. There is more in my heart now than what I lost in you. No longer only missing you. And maybe that's the deepest kind of proof. Love can leave a mark without remaining all of you. I used to think I'd be unfair to let the old pain fade, like healing meant betrayal of the life we almost made. Now I know remembering and moving on can both be true. I can honor what we were without belonging only to you. I'm no longer only missing you. I'm standing in the light of who I've grown into. No longer only missing you. Near as joy and sky and breathing room for something new. No longer only missing you. And that feels honest, kind and true. I still remember what I loved. I just no longer live inside the wound. I still remember you. That part is true. But I'm no longer only missing you. I didn't always know where I was going. I only knew one thing. I kept walking toward the sun. There were days the road felt endless, days I almost turned around, days the old blue whispered that I'd never leave its ground. But something in me kept choosing the lighter side of things. A window, a breath of morning, a sky with room to sing. I didn't need a promise, I didn't need a map, only the smallest warmth ahead to keep me moving past. One step then another, that's how the healing's done. Not by knowing everything, but by walking toward the sun. I kept walking toward the sun, through the gray, through the ache, through what I had been running from. I kept walking toward the sun, till the fear grew thin and the light felt like home. I kept walking toward the sun, and maybe that's the bravest thing I've done. Not never losing faith, but choosing it again and again. I still know how clouds gather, still know how shadows fall, still know some roads get heavier for no clear reason at all. But now I trust direction more than I trust doubt. I know what it means to keep on, even when the sky is still working itself out. And every little mile has taught me something true. The heart can heal while moving, it doesn't have to wait for perfect blue. One step and another, that's how the healing's done. Not by knowing everything, but by walking toward the sun. I kept walking toward the sun, through the gray, through the ache, through what I had been running from. I kept walking toward the sun. taught me how to keep walking toward the sun. I kept walking toward the sun. And one day I looked back at all the miles I'd crossed without even knowing that I kept walking toward the sun. And I think that's why I'm here now. Not all healed, not all done, but full of more light somehow. Kept walking toward the sun. And I'll keep doing what I've done. One soft day, one true step, walking toward the sun. I didn't always know where I was going. I only knew one thing. I kept walking toward the sun. It wasn't all at once, but one day I looked up and the world began again. The street outside felt brighter, the trees looked more alive. The ordinary little noises sounded like a second life. The cafe down the corner, the buses, birds and rain, all the things I'd stopped noticing began to speak again. I had been living inward so long inside the blue that I almost missed how much of life was still reaching through. Not asking me to be brand new, not asking me to pretend, just opening its hands and saying, you can begin again. The world began again, in the light, in the street, in the breath beneath my skin. The world began again, and I felt something quiet opening. The world began again, and maybe that's what hope is in the end. Not a different world, just the old one coming back to life again. I still remember winter, I still remember fear, but now they live beside a wider atmosphere. I can meet the day with steadiness, I can walk without the weight, I can let an ordinary moment be enough to make me stay. And maybe that's the wonder, after all the years of gray, the world was waiting patiently for me to look its way. Not asking me to be brand new, not asking me to pretend, just opening its hands and saying, you can begin again. The world began again, in the light, in the street, in the breath beneath my skin. The world began again, and I felt something quiet opening. The world began again, and maybe that's what hope is in the end. Not a different world, just the old one coming back to life again. I used to think recovery would mean leaving everything behind. Now I think it means returning with a softer, wiser mind to the same streets, same windows, same sky above the rain, and finding they can still hold beauty when the world begins again. The world began again. happen without fear. The world began again, and for once I wanted to be here. The world began again, and I think that's the deepest kind of change. Not escaping all the sorrow, but still choosing life again. The world began again, in the smallest, truest ways, and I'm here to feel it now. At the start of brighter days, it wasn't all at once, but one day I looked up, and the world began again. After all the weather, after all the loss, I'm still here, still soft. There were nights I thought surviving would require shutting down, turning all the tender places into harder ground. I thought I'd have to lose the softer parts of me just to stand through all the old blue and keep on breathing free. But time kept showing otherwise, in the smallest, truest ways, that what endured was not my armor, but the kindness that remained. I bent, I bruised, I changed, that's true, but not into a stranger to the better things I knew. I'm still here, still soft, still able to love, still able to trust. I'm still here, still soft, after all the nights that try to make me close up. I'm still here, still soft, and maybe that's the strongest thing I've got. Not that I never broke, but that I broke and didn't lose my heart. I still tear up at beauty, still pause at certain songs, still feel the rain and let it mean whatever it belongs. I still open to the morning, still believe in gentler things, still leave room inside my life for what tomorrow brings. And none of that feels fragile the way I feared it would. It feels more like a rooted strength, a quieter kind of good. I bent, I bruised, I changed, that's true, but not into a stranger to the better things I knew. I'm still here, still soft, still able to love, still able to trust. I'm still here, still soft, after all the nights that try to make me close up. I'm still here, still soft, and maybe that's the strongest thing I've got. Not that I never broke, but that I broke and didn't lose my heart. I used to think being gentle would only leave me weak. Now I know the deepest courage is to stay kind underneath all the rain, all the bruising, all the years of learning through, and still choose not to harden into someone untrue. I'm still here, still soft, and I think that's what healing came to prove, that the heart can hold its history and still stay open to. I'm still here, still soft, and I wear that like a vow, not less alive because I've hurt, but more myself somehow. I'm still here, still soft, after all the weather, after all make it through. But my heart learned a new way. I used to call it strength to shut the windows, hold the line, to carry all the weather without letting it inside. But somewhere in the healing I saw a different kind of courage in the softer things I once left behind. In the way I let the morning stay, in the way I let myself feel, in the way I stopped confusing numbness with something solid and real. Maybe strength was never armor, maybe grace was never far away. Maybe love after the breaking needed a different shape. My heart learned a new way to stay open without falling apart. My heart learned a new way to carry the past without becoming all scarred. My heart learned a new way, and maybe that's the truest kind of change. Not becoming less feeling, but learning how to feel and still remain. I still know how loss can let go, still know how fear can rise, but now it doesn't own the room or take the hole inside. I let joy come in more slowly, I let rest sit at the table, I let the quiet be enough, I let the day be gentle. None of that feels weaker than the ways I used to fight. It feels more like wisdom, it feels more like life. Maybe strength was never armor, maybe grace was never far away. Maybe love after the breaking needed a different shape. My heart learned a new way to stay open without falling apart. My heart learned a new way to carry the past without becoming all scarred. My heart learned a new way, and maybe that's the truest kind of change. Not becoming less feeling, but learning how to feel and still I used to think survival, but never bending in the rain. Now I know the deepest roots are the ones that learn to sway. And all the tenderness I feared is what led me here today. Not untouched, not undone, just more alive in a wiser way. My heart learned a new way to hold both memory and morning light. My heart learned a new way to trust a softer kind of life. My heart learned a new way, and I think that's what healing came to say. That all the love I thought I lost had changed and stayed. My heart learned a new way, and now I let that truth move through. Not harder, just more whole, more gentle and more true. I didn't chase it, I didn't force it through. One One quiet day, the light found the room. For so long I kept things dim, like I was safer that way. Like pain would stay asleep if I kept brightness at bay. But shadows have their limits, and walls can only do so much. Eventually, the smallest gold found everything it touched. Across the books, across the table, across the places blue had been. The room looked almost like itself before the hardest season. And I stood there in the stillness, not quite knowing what to do, when the warmth I thought I lost came drifting through. The light found the room, found the floor, found the chair, found the parts of me in blue. The light found the room, and suddenly the air didn't feel quite so consumed. The light found the room, and maybe that's what healing sometimes means. Not searching for the sun, but letting it reach what grief had covered quietly. I still have corners in me that remember darker days. Still have certain kinds of weather that can pull my thoughts away. But now I know another ending to the hush after the rain. Sometimes the room stays open and the warmth remains. Maybe that's the secret. Nothing grand, nothing new. The room was always there, it just needed light to move through. And I stood there in the stillness, not quite knowing what to do, when the warmth I thought I'd lost came drifting through. The light found the room, found the floor, found the chair, found the parts of me in bloom. The light found the room, and suddenly the air didn't feel quite so consumed. The light found the room, and maybe that's what healing sometimes means. Not searching for the sun, but letting it reach what grief had covered quietly. I used to think recovery would feel like leaving all the dark behind. Now I think it feels more like this. The dark's still there, but not the only kind of thing the room can hold, a thing the heart can know. Light doesn't erase the sorrow, it just lets something else also grow. The light found the room, and I let it stay on every ordinary thing. The light found the room, and the day inside me started opening. The light found the room, and I think that's why I trust it now. Healing doesn't always shout, sometimes it just shows up. Somehow the light found the room, and in that quiet golden truth, I saw how much of me had lived, waiting for it to. For a long time, I could only feel the day. Now I can feel tomorrow. There was a season I stopped planning, stopped looking past the dark, stopped asking more for mornings than a steady enough heart. I live from hour to hour, from evening into blue, like the future was a country I no longer knew. But lately something's shifting in the quiet after rain. A little more horizon, a little less of pain. I don't need all the answers, I don't need the whole road shown, just enough light in the distance to know I'm not walking alone. I can feel tomorrow in the air, in the light, in the way my chest lets go. I can feel tomorrow like a door inside the dark beginning to stay open. I can feel tomorrow, and maybe that's the strongest proof I know that healing is not only surviving, it's learning to believe in what comes after. So I hear it in the things I say now, in the plans I almost made, in the way I leave a little room for joy I haven't met. I still know all the old weather, still know how grief can bloom, but now it no longer covers every future in the room. And maybe hope is not a feeling that arrives complete and loud. Maybe it's the small, it's trust, but there is more than now. I don't need all the answers, I don't need the whole road shown, just enough light in the distance to know I'm not walking alone. I can feel tomorrow in the air, in the light, in the way my chest lets go. I can feel tomorrow like a door inside the dark beginning to stay open. I can feel tomorrow, and maybe that's the strongest proof I know that healing is not only surviving, it's learning to believe in what comes after. So I used to think the future belonged to other hearts, the ones that hadn't weathered the kind of blue that leaves its marks. Now I know tomorrow can still belong to me, not because I never broke, but because I still believe. I can feel tomorrow in the sky, in the glass, in the steady way I move. I can feel tomorrow in the softer kind of faith that's growing through. I can feel tomorrow, and I think that's all I need to know. The heart that made it through the storm can still lean toward the road. I can feel tomorrow, and that alone feels bright and true. After all the nights I only knew how to make it through. It used to scare me, the stillness, the blue. Now the quiet turned gentle. There was a time the silence felt too close to my skin, like every empty corner would pull the old ache in. I filled the room with voices, with screens and passing noise, because I didn't trust the quiet to leave me any choice. But somewhere in the healing, the stillness changed its tone. It stopped feeling like abandonment and started feeling like home. No warning, no sign, just one night I realized hush had softened. The quiet turned gentle in the room, in the air, in the way I could rest. The quiet turned gentle. It no longer pressed like a stone in my chest. The quiet turned gentle. And maybe that's a beautiful kind of truth, that peace can wear the same silence that once only hurt you. Now I can sit beside the window and let the city fade, let the lamp burn low beside me, and feel the calm remain. I can hear the kettle cooling, I can hear the floorboards breathe, and none of it feels empty now. It feels like room for me. And maybe that's the difference, that I need less, but that I no longer fear a little stillness. No warning, no sign, just one night I realize the hush had softened. The quiet turned gentle in the room, in the air, in the way I could rest. The quiet turned gentle. It no longer pressed like a stone in my chest. The quiet turned gentle. And maybe that's a beautiful kind of truth, that peace can wear the same silence that once only hurt you. I used to think calm was fragile, something pain could always break. Now I know it can grow quietly in every breath I take. And all the stillness I avoided was not the enemy, it was just waiting for the version of me who could receive it. The quiet turned gentle, and I think that's one of the deepest ways I healed. The same old room, the same old hush, and somehow nothing sharp to feel. The quiet turned gentle, and I let that softness move me through. Not to erase the harder nights, but to prove they were not all I knew. The quiet turned gentle, and now I trust what stillness can do. It gives the heart a place to land and grow into something new. It used to scare me, the stillness, the blue. Now the quiet turned gentle. So much changed, so much left. But when I looked around, what stayed was me. The room got rearranged, the seasons moved along. The old age changed its language, the nights grew less long. I lost some versions of me that only knew the rain, but somewhere under all of that, something steady stayed. Not untouched, not spotless, not who I was before, but someone still worth knowing on the other side of loss. I kept waiting to discover what the storm had left behind, and there I was, still breathing in the light. What stayed was me, through the dark, through the blue, through the years in between. What stayed was me, not unchanged, but still enough to carry me. What stayed was me, and maybe that's the deepest truth I've seen. After all the leaving, what stayed was me. I thought healing meant returning person I once knew. Now I know it means becoming someone honest and more true. Someone softer in the strong places, stronger in the soft. Someone who can hold old sorrow without letting it take all. And maybe that is mercy, maybe that is grace, to meet yourself again with the kind of face I kept waiting to discover what the storm had left behind. And there I was, still breathing in the light. What stayed was me, through the dark, through the blue, through the years in between. What stayed was me, not unchanged, but still enough to carry me. What stayed was me, and maybe that's the deepest truth I've seen after all the leaving. What stayed was me. I don't need every answer, I don't need every wound explained. I just need to know the weather didn't wash me away. And standing here now, I know what I can finally believe. I lost a lot, but I did not lose me. What stayed was me, in the light by the window, in the breath underneath. What stayed was me, in the steady way I move through grief. What stayed was me, and I think that's what healing came to teach. Not that nothing hurt, but that I remained through everything. What stayed was me, and now I say it like a vow. Not all at once, but fully now. So much changed, so much left, but when I looked around, what stayed was me. For a long time, I kept the curtains closed. Then one day, I let the morning in. It came across the table, soft, golden, pale and thin. Touched the books, the chair, the quiet, like it had always been. But something in me used to hide from anything that bright, like hope was something dangerous. After too much night, I learned the shape of dimness, the safety of the blue. But healing kept on asking if I was ready for something new. Not all at once, not more than I could hold, just a little light on what was once so cold. I let the morning in, to the room, to the glass, to the places hurt had been. I let the morning in, and the air felt like a life about to begin. I let the morning in, not because the past was suddenly undone, but because my heart was finally strong enough to trust the sun. I still know all the old rooms, the hours sorrow likes. I still know how the mind can turn a shadow into night. But now I know another feeling, a gentler way to wake, where peace does not erase the pain. It only changes what it takes to move through one more morning without bracing for the fall, to let the light arrive and not fear it after all. Not all at once, not just a little light on what was once so cold. I let the morning in, to the room, to the glass, to the places hurt had been. I let the morning in, and the air felt like a life about to begin. I let the morning in, not because the past was suddenly undone, but because my heart was finally strong enough to trust the sun. I used to think survival meant learning how to dim. Now I think it means becoming someone open again. Not to every storm, not to every flame, just to the chance that something good might still arrive and stay. I let the morning in, and I think that's what changed me most. Not one big miracle, just a softer way to hope. I let the morning in, and the whole room answered back like the life I thought I'd lost had only been waiting past the dark. I let the morning in, and maybe that's enough to prove that healing is not only mending, it's letting light move through. For a long time, I kept the curtains closed. Then one day, I let the morning in. I had almost forgotten what the room could feel like when the rain finally passed. For so long, every window held the same gray kind of sky. Every evening felt suspended, every breath a little tight. I learned to live inside the weather, learned to call the blue my own, till one day the glass looked brighter and the whole room changed its tone. It wasn't sudden sunlight, it wasn't perfect air, just the strange and tender feeling of something clear in there. Maybe you only know release after you've lived so long in gray. Maybe you only hear the calm when the rain gives way. The rain finally passed, and the room grew wider than my fear. The rain finally passed, and I could hear my own life clear. The rain finally passed, and maybe that's the miracle I needed most. Not a sky without weather, just a heart that could feel when the storm was over. I stood beside the same old window, watched the streets begin to dry, watched the city hold the morning without the weight I used to hide. I still knew the sound of sorrow, still knew all the roads it knew, but they no longer filled the landscape the way they used to do. And maybe this is what it means to come out the other side, not to forget the storm, but to see beyond it now. Maybe you only know release after you've lived so long in gray. Maybe you only hear the calm when the rain gives way. The rain finally passed, and the room grew wider than my fear. The rain finally think I felt the whole world breathe. The rain finally passed, and I could feel some of myself beneath. The rain finally passed, and that soft relief went all the way through. Not because life became perfect, but because the storm no longer felt like truth. The rain finally passed, and I stood there in the clearing view, so grateful for the quiet and the simple light that followed through. I had almost forgotten what the room could feel like when the rain finally passed. It came back around, the old ache, the old rain, but I didn't break this time. It was the same street corner, the same hour, same thin light, the same kind of weather that used to take my whole night. I felt it in my breathing, that familiar little pull, like memory had come to test me in a language I knew well. And for a second I was certain I'd go under like before, that I'd lose the whole evening to what the hurt had in store. But something in me stayed, something held the line. The feeling came through, and I stayed alive inside it. I didn't break this time. The pain showed up, but it didn't take my name. I didn't break this time. The old road came back, but I didn't go the same. I didn't break this time, and maybe that's how healing proves. Not that the past won't visit, but that it no longer moves through me like it used to. I stood there and let it happen, the rush, the weight, the blue. And then I watched it soften, the way weather sometimes do. I didn't run for cover, I didn't fall apart. I just let the feeling pass across a steadier kind of heart. And maybe that was everything, the lesson I had missed, that strength can look like staying inside a moment like this. Something in me stayed, something held the line. The feeling came through, and I stayed alive inside it. I didn't break this time. The pain showed up, but it didn't take my name. I didn't break this time. The old road came back, but I didn't go the same. I didn't break this time, and maybe that's how healing proves. Not that the past won't visit, but that it no longer moves through me like it used to. I used to think surviving meant the old hurt had to end. Now I know it means I meet it and still return to myself again. Not hardened, not empty, not turned to something numb. Stronger in the softest places than I used to know I was. I didn't break this time, and I think that's more than I knew how to ask. I didn't break this time, and the moment passed without becoming all I had. I didn't break this time, and that small truth shines through. The past may still remember me, but I don't belong to it the way I used to. the old ache, the old rain. But I didn't break this time.
Nothing dramatic happened, nothing loud, nothing new. But the day felt less heavy, and I noticed it. The morning came in quietly, same window, same floor, same light, same coffee on the counter, same city coming alive. But something in my shoulders didn't carry what they had, and something in the air around me didn't pull me back. I walked without the old weight, I answered calls without the strain. And somewhere in those little things I felt a softer day. Maybe healing lives and what you barely see, a little less of hurt and a little more of me. The day felt less heavy, less like I was dragging every hour through. The day felt less heavy, less like the sky was leaning blue. The day felt less heavy, and maybe that's a quiet kind of grace, when the world stays ordinary, but your heart moves through it a different way. I heard an old song playing and let it pass me by, without it pulling every shadow back into the light. I stood there in the checkout line and didn't feel the rush of old sorrow finding me in every little touch. And maybe what I'm learning is not how not to feel, but how to let the day be day without asking pain to leave. Maybe healing lives and what you barely see, a little less of hurting, a little more of me. The day felt less heavy, less like I was dragging every hour through. The day felt less heavy, less like the sky was leaning blue. The day felt less heavy, and maybe that's a quiet kind of grace, when the world stays ordinary, but your heart moves through it a different way. I used to wait for healing to arrive like some grand change. Now I know it may be simpler, a little less of old pain, a little more room in the chest, a little less fear in the frame. A day that feels lighter without needing a name. The day felt less heavy, and I think that's how it starts for real. Not in fireworks or sudden freedom, but in how the hours feel. The day felt less heavy, and I let that truth stay where it came. A little soft relief inside an ordinary day. The day felt less heavy, and I didn't need to ask you why. I just let the lighter feeling move through me and by. Nothing dramatic happened, nothing loud, nothing new, but the day felt less heavy, and I noticed it. For a long time I kept the room closed. Then one morning I opened the window. Not because I had all the answers, not because the hurt was done, not because the past stopped echoing or the night stopped coming on. Just because the air felt ready, and I was tired of staying small, tired of making fear my shelter,
tired of waiting on the wall. So I let the curtain lift a little, let the weather cross the floor. And for the first time in forever, the room felt less at war. Maybe courage looks like this, a hand, a latch, a view, a little more of life let in than what I was used to. I opened the window and the light came in without a fight. I opened the window and the air felt like a second life. I opened the window not to forget what I'd been through, but to let the world remind me there was more than the blue. I heard the street, the birds, the traffic, all the ordinary sounds, not as noise but as a promise that life was still around. The sky leaned in a little brighter, the room leaned out of grief, and something in me answered softly, like I was ready to believe. Not in perfect mornings, not in pain erased, just in the simple truth that I still had a place. Maybe courage looks like this, a hand, a latch, a view, a little more of life let in than what I was used to. I opened the window and the light came in without a fight. I opened the window and the air felt like a second life. I opened the window not to forget what I've been through, but to let the world remind me there was more than the blue. I used to think protection meant closing everything out. Now I think it may mean trusting that healing can stand some doubt, that not every breeze will hurt me, not every sky will fall. Sometimes opening the window is the bravest thing of all. I opened the window and it changed the room in quiet ways. I opened the window and the heart in me made space. I opened the window and maybe that's what healing proves. Not that I became unbreakable, but that I became more open to a life beyond the weather, a sky beyond the blue. For a long time I kept the room closed. Then one morning I opened the window. For a long time I kept the room closed. Then one morning I opened the window. Blue used to mean the nights I couldn't move through. Now it means something softer, a better kind of blue. It used to live in curtains and streetlights, rain and glass, in the hour after midnight that never seemed to pass. It used to wear your memory like a shadow in the room, and every shade of evening felt tied to losing you. But lately blue feels different, like sky instead of ache, like water, like distance, like the breath before daybreak. Maybe colors change when the heart does too. Maybe I didn't lose the blue, I just found a better one to move through, a better kind of blue. In the sky, in the quiet, in the way I'm healing through, a better kind of blue. something clean and true, a better kind of blue. And maybe that's what hope can do. It doesn't take the color away, it teaches you a kinder hue. I still see it in the window, still in the morning rain, still in the soft and distant places that once carried pain. But now it doesn't pull me back into what was gone. It feels more like a calm horizon I can rest my eyes upon. Maybe grief is not erased, maybe it just changes light, till the colors that once hurt you start feeling more like life. Maybe colors change when the heart does too. Maybe I didn't lose the blue, I just found a better one to move through, a better kind of blue. In the sky, in the quiet, in the way I'm healing through, a better kind of blue. Not the ache I used to fear, but something clean and true, a better kind of blue. And maybe that's what hope can do. It doesn't take the color away, it teaches you a kinder hue. I used to think recovery meant the old shades had to go. Now I know the heart gets wiser in the ways it learns to hold what once hurt deeply without making it the whole view. That's how sorrow turns into a better kind of blue. A better kind of blue. In the dawn, in the glass, in the softening of truth. A better kind of blue. In the life that kept on growing while I slowly grew, a better kind of blue. And I think that's the deepest proof that healing is not losing what was real, it's learning how to see it new. A better kind of blue, not empty, not erased, not untrue, just gentler on the soul and kinder moving through. Blue used to mean the nights I couldn't move through. Now it means something softer, a better kind of blue. Not all at once, not in some sudden flame. Little by little, I returned. First it was the morning, feeling less like something to survive. Then it was the sound of music, not undoing me inside. Then it was the walk back home, without the old weight in my chest. Then it was one honest evening that finally felt like rest. I didn't see it happening till I looked back through the blue and saw how many small things had already pulled me through. Maybe healing doesn't enter with a loud and shining sign. Maybe it just keeps arriving, one small piece at a time. Little by little, I turn to the roots, to the light, to the life I thought had burned. Little by little, I turn to the parts of me that still had so much left to learn. Little by little, I return, and maybe that's the only way by day. I return to making plans again, to opening up the blinds, to letting laughter happen without checking if it lied. I return to trusting quiet, to sitting still without the fear that every peaceful second would somehow disappear. And maybe that's what changed me, not some grand release of pain, just enough small moments to become myself again. Maybe healing doesn't enter with a loud and shining sign. Maybe it just keeps arriving, one small piece at a time. Little by little I return to the rooms, to the light, to the life I thought I'd burn. Little by little I return to the parts of me that still had so much left to learn. Little by little I return, and maybe that's the only way a heart comes back from weather, one gentle day by day. I used to think I needed proof that everything was changed. Now I think I only needed to stop measuring my pain by whether it was gone, and start noticing instead how much of me was living where I thought all life had ended. Little by little I returned to the warmth, to the calm, to the hope I thought was gone. Little by little I return, not perfect, not untouched, but stronger than before. Little by little I return, and that feels truer than a sudden kind of grace. Because the deepest healing takes its time and still takes place. Little by little I return, now I know what saved me most. Not one bright miracle, just refusing to stay lost. Not all at once, not in some sudden flame. Little by little I returned. There were nights I thought would never end, but I'm still here. The night didn't win. I know the weight of midnight, the kind that bends the chest, the kind that makes the ceiling feel heavier than rest. I know the shape of silence when it leans too close to skin. I know the fear of hours that won't let daylight in. But every time I thought I'd disappear into the blue, some small part of me kept breathing, kept carrying me through. Not loud, not fearless, not untouched by what had been, but enough to make it through. Enough that I'm still standing. The night didn't win. It came close, it came hard, but it didn't take me in. The night didn't win. I'm still here, still soft, still starting again. The night didn't win. And maybe that's what courage is. Not never feeling darkness, but not letting darkness finish. I still have evenings that remember. I still have windows full of rain. I still know the old roads back to sorrow and its name. But now I know the ending to those hours when they begin. The dark can stay around me and still not get within, because I learned the body can hold more than it first believes, and hearts can break and keep on beating with something left to keep. Not loud, not fearless, not untouched by what had been, but enough to make it through, enough that I'm still standing. The night didn't win. It came close, it came hard, but it didn't take me in. The night didn't win. I'm still here, still soft, still starting again. The night didn't win. And maybe that's what courage is, not never feeling darkness, but not letting darkness finish. I used to think survival would look like being changed to stone. Now I know the strongest thing was staying open through it all. Still kind, still real, still willing to begin. That's how I know for sure the night didn't win. The night didn't win, even when it filled the room and pressed against my skin. The night didn't win. I'm still here, still warm, still letting light come in. The night didn't win, and I think that's enough to say that every storm I've ever known still couldn't take my name away. And now the morning feels like proof, not that the dark was never real, but that I made it through. There were nights I thought would never end, but I'm still here. The night didn't win. I keep waiting for rescue, for something outside of me. Then one quiet day, I carried my heart home. I spent so many months wandering through rooms that didn't feel like mine, leaving parts of me in old weather, in old names, in old goodbyes. I thought healing meant returning to the self I used to know, but maybe it meant gathering the pieces I had left below. One by one, without a sound, I picked them up again. The softer parts, the tired parts, the hope I thought had ended. And maybe home is not a place or a person you can lose. Maybe home is what you carry back when you make it through. I carried my heart home, out of the dark, out of the ache, out of the blue. I carried my heart home, back to the hands that knew what to do. I carried my heart home. Maybe that's the bravest thing I've known. After all the leaving, I carried my heart home. It wasn't some grand moment, no choir, no bright release, just one evening where I noticed I was speaking to myself with peace. No more begging old reflections to return what they once took. No more searching empty windows for the version of me I couldn't keep. I made tea in the kitchen, kitchen, I watched the light change slow. And for the first time in forever, I felt like I belonged. And maybe home is not a place or a person you can lose. Maybe home is what you carry back when you make it through. I carried my heart home, out of the dark, out of the ache, out of the blue. I carried my heart home, back to the hands that knew what to do. I carried my heart home, and maybe that's the bravest thing I've known. After all the leaving, I carried my heart home. I used to think love leaving meant I had nowhere left to go. Now I know there is still a place inside me built to hold everything I've been through, everything I had to outgrow, and all the softer parts of me that still deserved a home. I carried my heart home, through the rain, through the years, through the hurting, through. I carried my heart home to a quieter life I could finally move through. I carried my heart home, and I don't need another sign to know that healing is not finding something new. It's bringing yourself back home. I carried my heart home, and I think that's what saved me most. Not being rescued, just learning how to hold my own. I kept waiting for rescue, for something outside of me. Then one quiet day, I carried my heart home. I spent so long looking down, I almost missed it. There was still a sky. I learned the language of surviving, the floor, the walls, the weight of days, how to make it through the hours without asking much from grace. I got used to smaller living, to the blue press close and low, to believing all the world had shrunk to only what I could hold. But one morning at the window, with the city waking light, I looked past all the old hurt and saw the open sky. It didn't fix the past, it didn't change goodbye. It just reminded me there was still a sky. There was still a sky, still blue above the things that broke, still white above the nights that I thought had taken all my hope. There was still a sky, and somehow there was enough to prove the world was bigger than the sorrow I had been living through. I still know the pull of old weather, still know the way memory can land. But now I also know the feeling of more space than pain can command. There are clouds and passing shadows There are days that come in gray, but even then the sky stays larger than the things that ache. And maybe healing starts the moment you lift your eyes from what was lost and see that not all beauty left when everything got crossed. It didn't fix the past, it didn't change goodbye, it just reminded me there was still a sky. There was still a sky, still blue above the things that broke, still white above the nights that I thought had taken all my hope. There was still a sky, and somehow there was enough to prove the world was bigger than the sorrow I had been living through. I used to think the hurt had covered every inch of what could be. Now I know grief is only weather, not the whole eternity. And even when the clouds come back, I know what still is true. There is something wider holding everything I'm moving through. There was still a sky above the window, above the years, above the blue. There was still a sky above the part of me that thought it never would. There was still a sky, and maybe that's the quiet gift of healing too. Not that the pain was never real, but that it wasn't all there was to view. There was still a sky, and I can finally say I see it now. Not all at once, but enough to lift my tired heart somehow. I spent so long looking down, I almost missed it. There was still a sky. I used to think I had to fix it fast, but breathing comes back slow. There were days my chest felt crowded, like the air had nowhere to go, like even the smallest silence could turn heavy in my throat. I kept waiting for a turning, a clean and sudden kind of ease, but healing had another language, and it spoke in patient breaths to me. Not all at once, not all in one bright sign, just one softer exhale at a time. Maybe the heart knows what the mind can't hold, that some things only meant as breathing comes back slow. Breathing comes back slow, after all the nights that stole it, after all the fear that held it close. Breathing comes back slow, like a room reopening, like a life remembering how to let the light come through. Breathing comes back slow. I can feel it in the mornings, in the steadiness of tea, in the way my shoulders loosen without me asking them to be. I still have weather moving, still have moments that feel old, but now I trust the body when it says let go a little more. I don't rush the quiet, I don't force the sky to clear, I just stay long enough to notice I am here. demanded into place, just one breath after another, making room for grace. Breathing comes back slow, and I think that's what saved me. Not some sudden golden answer, just the air returning gently. Breathing comes back slow, and maybe that's enough to know I'm not behind, I'm not undone, I'm just becoming whole. Breathing comes back slow, and I let that truth move through. The heart that hurt this deeply can still learn something new. I used to think I had to fix it fast, but breathing comes back slow. I wasn't looking for forever, I wasn't asking for release. I just found a small piece. It was there beside the window, in the middle of the day. Not loud enough to call attention, just enough to make me stay. The air felt easier to carry, the room no longer felt at war, and all the little things around me didn't hurt the way they had before. I didn't have to chase it, didn't have to force its name. It came like something simple, and that's why it stayed. Maybe peace is not a mountain, maybe it's a chair, a cup, a breath, a quiet little moment that doesn't ask for less. I found a small piece in the light, in the still, in the way I could breathe. I found a small piece, not enough to change the world, but enough to change me. I found a small piece, and maybe that's the gift I needed most. Something gentle, something true, something I could hold. I still know the sound of sorrow, still know how the blue can land, but now there's something softer walking with me hand in hand. I can hear the rain and not collapse, I can rest and not feel wrong. I can let a quiet evening be just an evening, moving on. And maybe that sounds smaller than the dreams I used to keep, but after all that weather, small peace runs deep. Maybe peace is not a mountain, maybe it's a chair, a cup, a breath, a quiet little moment that doesn't ask for less. I found a small piece in the light, in the still, in the way I could breathe. I found a small piece, not enough to change the world, but enough to change me. I found a small piece, and maybe that's the gift I needed most. Something gentle, something true, something I could hold. I thought healing had to shine like some dramatic golden scene. Now I know it can arrive as one untroubled in between. One honest hour, one softened chest, one room that finally feels like rest. I found a small piece, and I think that's why I'm different now. Not untouched, not unbroken, just less afraid of the quiet. Somehow I found a small piece, and I don't need to ask it to prove that life can still be kind. In the smallest room I found a small wasn't asking for release. I just found a small piece. It didn't leave all at once. It didn't disappear, but the hurt let go a little. I woke up to the same old ceiling, the same old Rain Street view, the same small room, the same quiet that I once tied to you. But something in me was embracing the way it used to do. Like my heart had stopped expecting every hour to break into. I made coffee in the kitchen, heard a song and stayed okay. And for a second I could feel the weight give way. Not a miracle, not a sudden kind of light, just the ache releasing a little more tonight. The hurt let go a little, not enough to call it gone, but enough to let me stand here without leaning on the storm. The hurt let go a little, and I felt the room grow wide, like healing had been waiting quietly inside. I still know what sadness sounds like, still know the old blue rain, still have days where memory comes back calling out your name. But it no longer owns the morning or every midnight turn. It's softer in the places where it used to burn. Maybe progress looks exactly like this tender kind of truth. The pain still knows my body, but it doesn't run it through. Not a miracle, not a sudden kind of light, just the ache releasing a little more tonight. The hurt let go a little, not enough to call it gone, but enough to let me stand here without leaning on the storm. The hurt let go a little, and I felt the room grow wide, like healing had been waiting quietly inside. I used to think I'd only know it when the whole world turned brand new, but maybe healing happens smaller in the way the old pain loosens through. Or maybe I don't need complete release to know I'm moving on. Maybe a little less breaking is already something strong. The hurt let go a little, and I think that's how it starts. Not with forgetting every shadow, but with gentler hands around the heart. The hurt let go a little, and that was more than I had known. A softer breath, a steadier step, a little more of me back home. The hurt let go a little, and I let that truth stay still. Not perfect, not finished, but enough to know I will. It didn't leave all at once, it didn't disappear, but the hurt let go a little. There was a soft morning through the glass, and for once it didn't hurt to let it in. The window wore the pale first light, like a promise it had kept. After all the nights I sat beneath it, too tired even to rest, I watched the city wake up slowly, without asking anything of me. And something in that quiet sunrise felt kinder than it used to be. No thunder, no revelation, no sudden perfect peace, just the smallest sense that the world was no longer against me. Maybe that's enough, maybe that is grace, a softer kind of morning finding my face. Soft morning through the glass, through the blue, through the rain marks, through what used to last. Soft morning through the glass, like a hand on the room, saying this too shall pass. Soft morning through the glass, and I could finally look without going back to every darker thing that once waited there for me. I still know the language of midnight, still know what silence can do, but now the dawn feels less like something I have to survive through. It feels a little more like mercy, a little more like room, a little more like living after all the old blue. And maybe healing isn't grander than a morning you can trust. Maybe it begins the moment light stops feeling dangerous. Maybe that's enough, maybe that is grace, a softer kind of morning finding my face. Soft morning through the glass, through the blue, through the rain marks, through what used to last. Soft morning through the glass, like a hand on the room, saying this too shall pass. Soft morning through the glass, and I could finally look without going back to every darker thing that once waited there for me. I used to think the night had marked me in a way the day could never reach, but the light kept showing up in patient little speech. And now I know some healing comes not by force, not fast, but like a soft morning through the glass. Soft morning through the glass, and I let it touch the books, the bed, the floor. Soft morning through the glass, and the room didn't feel like a wound anymore. Soft morning through the glass, and maybe that's what growing means, not losing every shadow, but letting in a gentler thing. Soft morning through the glass, and I think I'm finally there, not at the end of sadness, just somewhere past despair. There was a soft morning through the glass, and for once it didn't hurt to let it in. I forgot how warm a room could be forgot how easy breathing gets. I'm learning the light again. For a while I lived in lowered windows, in the after of a harder year. I let the quiet turn to shelter, 'cause it felt safer there. But little by little the morning entered in ways I almost didn't see. A softer cold across the kitchen, a calmer kind of me. I'm not all the way to freedom, I'm not untouched by what has been, but I can feel the edges changing, I can feel the light coming. Maybe joy is not a thunder, maybe it arrives this way, as a gentle hand on tired shoulders, saying stay. I'm learning the light again, how it falls, how it warms, how it reaches in. I'm learning the light again, how to let it stay without fearing it. I'm learning the light again, and maybe that's a kind of grace to stop mistaking every brightness for something that will leave. I can sit beside the window now, without waiting for the dark. I can hear an old song playing and not fall apart. I still have nights that feel familiar, still have weather moving through, but it no longer takes the whole sky the way it used to do. And maybe healing looks exactly like this quiet kind of gain, not becoming someone different, just becoming whole in pieces again. Maybe joy is not a thunder, maybe it arrives this way, as a gentle hand on tired shoulders, saying stay. I'm learning the light again, how it falls, how it warms, how it reaches in. I'm learning the light again, how to let it stay without fearing it. I'm learning the light again, and maybe that's a kind of grace to stop mistaking every brightness for something that will leave. I used to think I had to earn it, the peace would have to fight through pain. Now I think it may be simpler, the heart just opens when it can. And every day I let it enter a little more than yesterday. I feel the world become less distant in the smallest ways. I'm learning the light again, in the dawn, in the glass, in the softened skin. I'm learning the light again, how to let a better chapter begin. I'm learning the light again, and I don't need a perfect end, just enough warmth to believe there's still good ahead of me. I'm learning the light again, and that already feels like change, not all at once, but true enough to say I'm not the same. I forgot how warm a room could be, I forgot how easy breathing gets. I'm learning the light again. The rain is still on the glass, but something in the room has changed. I can feel it now, hope after rain. I spent so many nights believing the dark was all the sky would be, so many hours holding silence like it belonged to me. But this morning felt a little different, the blue didn't press the same, and for the first time in a long while, the hurt forgot my name. There was light on the table, There was calm in the air. Nothing loud, nothing magic, just a softer kind of there. Maybe healing doesn't enter like a flood or like a flame. Maybe it comes in small warm pieces, like hope after rain. This is hope after rain, not the end of every ache, just the first small sign that I'm not gonna break the same. This is hope after rain, in the light, in the air, in the way I breathe. Not everything is fixed, but something gentle came back to me. I still remember all the nights that felt too heavy to get through. I still carry parts of that weather, like everybody does who knew. But pain no longer owns the window, and grief no longer fills the frame. There's room now for a different feeling to enter with my name. It isn't loud or golden, it isn't some grand release. It's just the way the room feels wider, and the heart feels less at war with peace. Maybe healing doesn't enter like a flood or like a flame. Maybe it comes in small warm pieces, like hope after rain. This is hope after rain, not the end of every ache, just the first small sign that I'm not gonna break the same. This is hope after rain, in the light, in the air, in the way I breathe. Not everything is fixed, but something gentle came back to me. I used to think the sky had chosen one long shade of blue for me. Now I know even the saddest weather still leaves room for what can be. And maybe I am not starting over, maybe I'm just finally seeing that surviving all that storm was teaching me this feeling. This is hope after rain, in the hush and the dawn and the softened pain. This is hope after rain, like my soul remembering how to open again. This is hope after rain, not perfect, not finished, but real enough to know the heart can keep on beating and still learn a different kind of love. This is hope after rain, and I think that's all I need. Not a life without the weather, just a sky that lets me breathe. The rain is still on the glass, but something in the room has changed. I can feel it now. Hope after rain.